The traditional ship's log has now largely become the domain of commercial shipping. That's because there is no legal requirement for a pleasure vessel of less than 150 gross tons to maintain a detailed ship's logbook. As such, it has become the legal preserve of commercial vessels. But logbooks are specifically printed for leisure craft, and very few vessels will not have one aboard somewhere. That's because it's a good practice to maintain it for several reasons. It provides a good regular checkpoint to see how your passage is progressing and time to consider it. It records the conditions you encounter along the way, so you have a good record of how a vessel performs in various conditions. It helps to keep track of engine run hours, fuel consumption, and the remaining motoring range, as well as drinking water and provisions. It can be used to provide sail mild experience for sailing qualifications or certification. It's a good way of recording unusual aspects of a location should you ever return, or help brief a fellow mariner. If the plots are ample and focused, it could provide a reliable set of waypoints for a fellow mariner to replicate a passage through a challenging location. Should there be a serious incident, ship's log becomes of vital importance, never more so than when you need it to support an insurance claim. In these conditions, it retains all the details that can easily be forgotten in a complicated event. Finally, and just as important, it provides a place where you and your crew can make note of events, stories, and sometimes shenanigans of the day. And by doing so, it is a vital means of preserving and recounting your sailing memories and experiences. Yet, despite this, few of us maintain a ship's log. If I were to guess why this is, it is because the log, to the largest part, is a bit of a chore centered around repetitive making note of rather dry data points. But what if the mundane aspects could be automated away, so all you had to do was simply add your observations when appropriate? And likewise, with the core data taken care of, the observations, events and stories that make your logs rich and rewarding can have more focus. That would not only make maintaining a ship's log much easier, but the log itself much more interesting. But also, imagine if that log was no longer a ledger buried somewhere beneath the vessel's chart table, but a record that is alive and could be shared in an instant in a universally understandable form with anyone you like. And by that, I mean not just those who are aboard, but also those ashore. And not just past logs, but a log that is being recorded in real time whilst you are still underway. That would add convenience and an extra measure of safety to your passage for those who are interested, concerned, or perhaps meeting you upon arrival. They could all be kept posted on your passage's progress whilst you are underway. If all these things could be accommodated, then the ship's log would be much easier to maintain, more relevant, more interesting, and a more useful resource to more people. All of these would bring the traditional ship's log into the 21st century and make it a much more useful resource that is worth attending to. So let me introduce you to the eOceanic log capability. Upon preparing to depart your berth, all that is required to start your log is to touch the menu option or swipe from the left to view the menu. Then just touch the log button and your log commences immediately. That is it. Your log is up and running with core data points of position, speed, bearing and miles traveled being recorded for you every minute thereafter. This will be confirmed by the menu button toggling to a red stop button with a flashing dot to show it is active. When the menu is hidden, you will see the logbook recording icon in the top right-hand corner, confirming the log is active whilst you are using other application resources. Likewise, whilst the data connection is present, which is generally good off the coast, it will replicate and back up the log running on your device to eOceanic.com, where it will append the current marine data to your log entry. This includes wind direction and force, the temperature, the swell height, period, and direction, as well as significant wave height. If a data connection is not available, it will replicate the core data points and log entries when you next connect. So if you should ever lose the device upon which eOceanic is making the log, you always have a backup copy of all your logs in your eOceanic.com account. So there you have it. All the core data is taken care of and backed up with those two simple touches of the application. Then when it comes to enriching it with noteworthy events, All that is required is to return to the menu and touch the Entry button. You are then given the option to provide your observation with a title and then as much text space as you want to type in what you care to say. Once you press Enter, this note is attached to your running log with a time and position stamp, and you can attach as many observations as you please. You will then see the entry in the current running log. Stopping the log is just as simple. Return to the menu and touch Stop. The log is closed both on your device and on eOceanic.com if a data connection is present, and it does this later when it reconnects if not. To see your logs on the device, simply open the menu and touch My Logs. They are listed in order of recording with top-line summaries so that it may easily be identified. Although the log data may not be altered, you can provide the log with a title and or change that title later. You can see all of the entries within the saved logs by touching Details. This view enables you to see all the attached observations. If you touch the chart options, you can see the plots on the chart in detail. You can delete a log, but cannot change a recorded log in any way save for its title. This immutability is important should you need to rely on the record to support an insurance claim or to prove sea miles for a sailing qualification. A log may be deleted from within its Details page. Just touch the Delete Log icon and then confirm the action. So if we take a quick look at this next log, we can see this has several observations. We can also see where these observations were made in the chart view. But you don't have to have a log running to make a quick note of something you see. You can touch the Entry button at any time to make a note of something you observed. It will file the note and automatically append the position and time to the note for you and store it in My Notes. To view these notes, simply go to My Logs, then My Notes. You have the option there to retain these notes or individually delete them as you please. This takes us to the next log, which is an automatic log. Logs are automatically created and recorded in the background in two other circumstances, during the anchor watch and man overboard services. In both these cases, the log is activated and deactivated from within these functions. An example of the first of these, the anchor watch, appears next here. Anchor watches are automatically titled as such, and you are welcome once again to rename it as you please. By going into the detail view and then into the chart view, we can see the plots that make up this irregular pattern. This was the track of our lightweight survey rib bopping about between the clutches of wind and tide. The other automatically generated log is for the man overboard service. Fortunately, I have not got an example of one of these to hand, so let's just create a quick example of how this operates here. Man overboard logs are activated and closed from a unique man overboard toggle button. You have the option in settings to have a man overboard button present on the top right hand corner of the application for most all functions. However, for this quick example, we will use the large central man overboard button that is available in navigation mode. So we are in Leamington here, and let's set Yarmouth opposite on the Isle of Wight as our destination to enter into navigation mode. As covered in the separate and detailed man overboard tutorial, should a crew member fall overboard, immediately follow the vessel's man overboard procedure and touch the man overboard button. You then get the option to confirm should it be an accidental initiation. After confirmation, it sets the position where the man overboard was triggered as your new destination and sets the log running in the background. The button toggles to cancel the man overboard, and the event and the vessel's track are logged thereafter. Uniquely, in this life-critical event, the key data points that the rescue services will require from you, the time of the man overboard and position, remain available on the screen for the duration of the man overboard log. There is also a time in the water counter to help you assess the recovery situation. If the crewmate who has fallen overboard can be recovered from the cold water within the first 10 minutes, they may be able to assist in their rescue. After that, they will increasingly become unresponsive, so this timer helps keep you appraised of their condition. Once the man overboard ends, simply touch the cancel man overboard button. After confirming this action, the man overboard log is closed and normal navigation resumes to the original destination. Man overboard logs are automatically titled as such in My Logs, and you are welcome once again to rename it as you please. If you already had a log running when the man overboard was initiated, that log will continue uninterrupted throughout the man overboard event and thereafter record the passage as intended. This will also contain the man overboard subsection of the overall passage. So now that you're familiar with logs on your device, let's have a look at how you can share them beyond the device, beyond the vessel, both past logs and right up to a log that you might be recording in the present moment. We will treat all these instances as the same, as both real-time and past logs appear virtually the same to a remote viewer. When you wish to share a log, we enable you to do so via an eOceanic.com web representation of the log. All that is required by those whom you wish to share with is a browser supporting device with internet access. Then you share your log by simply sending them a unique URL link to the log page. This one-off eOceanic.com link is not discoverable and neither can it be guessed because it includes 16 randomly generated characters. Only those who have been provided with the exact link will be able to find the log. So let's pick this log from our survey of Strangford Lough and see how this presents to the remote viewer. The spatial view has your passage track overlaid over a tailored Google map so that it can be viewed in context with topographical features visually illustrated. You will also see the oceanic listed objects, havens, and routes are shown. These may be turned off and on by placing the mouse pointer over the logo. You may also switch from the satellite view to a map view just above. The bottom banner contains the log title, summary details, and an Explore eOceanic link to our tutorials page. Up top, your log automatically appends some key details from your registration with eOceanic. Boat name, MMSI, in this case 123, etc., as the vessel does not have one, and primary vessel sizing details. These details are presented for safety reasons. Should the log be used in an emergency, the MMSI details will be key. Likewise, having the size and draft displayed makes it clear the class of boat that made this track. This is well illustrated here with the survey rib. It is important that its shallow draft is clear should a deep draft vessel consider it safe to adopt the waypoints to follow this track. The track is mapped as the red line on the map. The mouse pointer presents as a grab hand when you're over the map, so you can simply click to drag or scroll to zoom the map as usual. However, when you place the mouse pointer over the track and over a point where a fix has been logged, it changes to a hand pointing an index finger. When this happens, it indicates you are hovering over a plot and you can left click to see the recorded data at this point. On the web, this is the combination of the device data, such as speed over ground bearing, etc., with the marine data that was attached when it was recorded on eOceanic.com. It is important to note that the marine data can only be appended to fixes that are recorded and transmitted simultaneously, as the weather data is a live feed that has no retrospective view. Data service along the coast is surprisingly good, as the towers have unbroken horizons and few users. Should the data connection drop out, your log will continue recording on your logging device. Then, when the data connection is re-established, the intervening plots will be uploaded, but this section will not have the marine weather data attached. Likewise, the weather data is only stored on eOceanic.com to be presented on the logs webpage. This additional data is not synced back to the device to keep the data consumption and the device storage used for this capability to a minimum. So let's go to the chart view on the device to see the actual plots. Here we see the plots are marked by the waypoint icon when viewed on the chart. Simply drag and pinch to zoom to find a plot of interest. Then when you touch the plot, you will see its date stamp, lat long, speed and bearing without the marine weather details. This particular log has no observation added, so let us look at this separate example where we have observations. As you can see, the observations appear on the details page, last most to the top, and you can see where they were made on the chart view. The log observations are also indicated by the logbook icons placed over the passage track for remote viewers. As we can see in this example, and we will choose a different browser here too, all that is required to read an observation is to simply click on a log icon and it will show you the entry. eOceanic also provides an option to view the observations as a traditional log view similar to the details page in the application. Whenever observations are attached to a log, a detail view icon presents in the bottom left-hand corner. These may be viewed in two ways. Click the icon and it moves the browser forward to this view, where all the observations are listed lastmost to the top. Alternatively, each observation on the map view has a link in its information panel to list all logs in a new tab, which presents this view but via opening it in a new tab. There are only two differences between a past and a real-time log. The former has all its plots complete end to end, whilst the latter is continuing to add new plots when it has a data connection aboard. Should the data connection from the vessel drop out, the plots halt for the remote observers. And then when the connection is re-established, the intervening plots fill in and the regular progress plots appear once again. So you now know how your passage logs present both on your device and remotely. So let's show you how to move logs from your device to the people you wish to share your passages with. There are 4 ways to share individual passage logs, both past passages and ones underway in real time. Let's start with the most popular and easiest option, which is to share a log in real time. This is achieved by touching the live log icon presented in chart view. That one touch takes care of everything that is required in the application. It connects to the running log or starts a log running should one not be currently active. It then takes the log's unique URL and copies it into your device's clipboard. So everything is ready. All you have to do is switch across to whichever application you normally use to communicate with the person you intend to share your passage with. Then once the new message is open, simply long touch in the text entry space to select to paste the log link saved to the clipboard. This can be any application used to share text, such as email, mobile text, or WhatsApp, as I'm using here. With the link sent, they have everything they need, and you may return to eOceanic for navigation. Once the link is opened and you have a network connection, they will see your position being plotted every minute. That's it. It is as simple as that. The second most common thing you will most likely do is share a past passage log. So in this case, as long as you have even the slightest data connection, you're all set. Simply go to My Logs and pick the past log you wish to share. It can be any of your past logs, and I will choose the topmost needles run example here. Touch the Share button. And as before, this copies the link into the clipboard, ready to share, and I will use email this time. These 2 approaches will likely accommodate most of your use cases, but for completeness, let me just add 2 other options also available to you. If you're not in charts, you can also go directly to the current running log in My Logs. It will be the topmost log and will be showing a flashing red logging indicator. From here, just press Share. It places the URL into the clipboard as before, ready for pasting into whichever platform you prefer. Finally, you can go into My Shares, where all your existing share links are recorded. If you touch one of the listed links, it will automatically be copied into the clipboard, ready to send. This brings us to the one last, final, and ultimate sharing option available called a persistent live log. This is a single link you can share that makes available all your present and future passage logs. In the previous examples, we shared links to individual past or present passage logs. A persist link is a single link that remains continuously available for people you want to always have oversight to your passages. So, whenever you are out sailing and logging your passage with a data connection, your progress and conditions for the present and future passages will be displayed on the page that is created by the persist link. There is no need to send individual passage links as the persist link remains constantly available. But like all the other logs, it will only record a track to its page when you have a log running, plus a data connection is required for it to be seen in real time. If the log is not turned on, no log data is being recorded to share in any context. To create a persistent live log, just go to My Logs, then select My Shares and touch the Create a Persistent link. And as with all the links, it is automatically placed into the clipboard, then share as normal. But this link to your log is persistent, not permanent. You can deactivate any and all links to past, present, or persistent links at any time in My Logs. From within My Shares, find the link you wish to remove. Touch Delete then confirm, and the link and its remote page will be removed. Your personal log will remain in your files, but a remote link to view the log externally as a web page will be immediately and permanently removed. You may of course create a new link to the log, but the link you shared earlier no longer exists. So not only do you have the option to share your logs or future passages at any time to anyone you please, but you can also remove those links whenever you please. You always retain complete control. So that's the eOceanic log capability. Entirely renewed with 21st century technology, the traditional ship's log now becomes a useful tool to add to your stock of cruising resources. No longer is it a chore primarily focused on detailing dry data points. We take care of all of that for you and with meticulous detail, so you are free to focus on the interesting observations that bring your passages to life. And those observations no longer need to be trapped in a paper ledger beneath the vessel's chart table. You can now access your passage insights from anywhere, anytime, and freely share them with everybody aboard and ashore in real time for added convenience and safety. Be more useful to more people in so many different ways and so easy to attend to makes the traditional ship's log a worthwhile companion once again. So you can not only retain the good old-fashioned seamanship key facts, as well as preserve your fond recollections from your time afloat, but have many more useful capabilities to make your boating safer and more enjoyable. Thank you for taking the time to view the eOceanic log tutorial.